Third quarter. 6:06 UDUB 34 Wazoo 0. So here's Kurt Cobain's guitar from the Seattle Museum of Pop Culture. Somewhere I have heard this before. In a dream of memory restored. As a defense I'm neutered and spayed. What the hell am I trying to say? Falk throws another pick. Gaskin scores another touchdown. Washington has outscored Wazoo 124-27 in the last 2+ games. 8:45 UDUB 27 Wazoo 0. Hercules Matt Offa has the best name in college football. He will also not be participating in the rest of this game after he gets called for targeting, prolonging a Husky drive after the Cougars got a rare stop. Later in the drive, Isaac Dotson punches Myles Gaskin in the midsection and the refs decide that boys will be boys. So they call nothing. Vizcaíno drills the field goal and the Huskies lead by 27. The potential for a fight has gone up. Can't wait to see how Vea responds to his quarterback taking a headshot and his running back being punched in the kidneys. 13:40 UDUB 24 Wazoo 0. Whoever has the laser, please put it away. A ref said that. In between Luke Falk sliding short of a first down and then UDUB blowing up a WR screen. The second half has begun like the first ended. Purple as far as the eye can see. Took that picture at Mount Olympic National Park this summer. There cannot be a better part of the country in the summer. Second quarter. 0:00 UDUB 24 Wazoo 0. Vita Vea is unblockable. At least for this Washington State team. Wazoo punts from its own 1. Washington gets a first down and then turns the drive over to Tristan Vizcaíno, who boots a 44-yard field goal just to show that the Huskies have everything. With 90 seconds left, Falk finally hits a few passes, then throws a bad pick under duress by Vea. That's a third turnover in the half for Falk, who will not be putting this game in a Facebook status update. Washington is a West Coast Ohio State. When the Huskies have been bad, they've been really bad. Most of the rest of the time, they have looked like a playoff team. If not for the tiebreakers in the Pac-12 and playing their games late at night, the Huskies would be in the Buckeyes' shoes as a playoff dark horse. Rushing yardage in the first half. Huskies 181. Cougars -25. Somewhere, a South Georgia high school coach who was skeptical of the Mumleach offense when they brought it to Valdosta State is feeling validated. 4:51 UDUB 21 Wazoo 0. Wazoo really needs an answer called to the front of the classroom. The Cougars blurt out a first down and then stall when they cannot run for anything close to the 2 yards they need on third down. Wazoo has no running or deep passing game. The only plays that have produced anything are the short passes. Powell, who has been Wazoo's best player, then hits a 56-yard punt to pin the Huskies at their own 7. Browning gets Washington some room with a pretty sideline throw to Andre Baccellia. Then Gaskin hits a couple big runs. Washington's offensive line is kicking all manner of butt. A few runs later and Gaskin is tumbling into the end zone. This is like one of Leach's games at Texas Tech where his Red Raiders played a much more talented Texas or Oklahoma team and just got whipped up front. This is a compliment to Chris Peterson for getting Washington to that level. 12:34 UDUB 14 Wazoo 0. UW's drive stalls at the 41. So Browning hits a perfect quick kick that the Huskies down at the 1-yard line. This game has been a showcase for punting. Wazoo then gets a first down before Falk fumbles. It takes Washington all of 2 plays to turn the game's first turnover into a touchdown. This is like every other recent vintage Apple Cup. The Joe Montana, Kat Dennings ad for MasterPass is playing on a loop on Fox. I keep expecting Montana to break into his honest guy persona and talk about how he is going to go upstairs to masturbate. First quarter. 0:00 WSU-7 Wazoo 0 Washington gets one first down to get some room away from their goal line and are then forced to punt. Wazoo starts a promising drive with a pair of first downs, but then a sack is followed by a horrendous throw by Falk into lots of defenders. Washington hits a WR screen down to the 5, but a holding penalty brings it back. Huskies have the ball at midfield at the end of the first quarter. Cougars are still without a first-quarter touchdown in Seattle since 2007. 6:38 UDUB 7 Wazoo 0 The teams trade 3 and outs. Luke Falk still doesn't have time to throw, but the Cougars finally have something good happen when Eric Powell hits a line drive punt that dies on the Huskies' 1-yard line. Wazoo was aided on the play by the Huskies' normal returner Dante Pettis being out with an ankle injury. 8:28 UDUB 7 Wazoo 0 That was quick. Wazoo's first drive goes nowhere. We're on immediate blowout alert. On a happier note, the Apple Cup is sponsored by Boeing, which I love because if any company is going to slap its name on a game, it should be one with a local presence. In homage, here's a shot of a B-29 from the Boeing Museum that I snapped this summer. Anyone want to debate the merits of the dropping of the atomic bombs or the strategic bombing campaign against Japan? We might need to go that route if Wazoo doesn't start playing. 9:25 UDUB 7 Wazoo 0 The Huskies have a perfect opening drive. Predominantly on the ground, they face only one third down, a 3rd and 3, and put the ball into the end zone thanks to a short Myles Gaskin run. After one drive, this game seems like a continuation with the last 2 years. Bad news for the Cougars. The game is only kicking off at 8:15, so the wife and I are explaining jewelry commercials to our kids. I referred to shiny gifts after a certain period of marriage as maintenance jewelry. Need to remember that line for the future. Also, we're going with the Falcons' pine glasses for the dark and stormies in honor of Blair Walsh. Pre-game. When Mike Leach came to Pullman, Washington State had not had a winning season in its last 8. The Cougars were coming out of the disastrous Paul Wolf era, in which the team won 9 games in 4 years. Washington State but has won as many games this season, and tonight, it goes for the Pac-12 North title in Seattle against arch-rival Washington. The Huskies are 1 year removed from a Pac-12 championship and a playoff berth. They have had another excellent season, as they rank 6th nationally in S&P+. But 2 losses, most notably an inexplicable setback in Tempe, mean that Chris Peterson's team can do nothing more than play the role of spoiler. S&P Plus likes the odds of the Huskies to do just that, making Washington a 10.4-point favorite. Part of the reason is that Washington State's 9-2 record is a little soft. 1/3 of its wins have come in instances in which Waz's win expectancy was below 50%. This is also an odd Mike Leach team, one whose offense ranks behind its defense. One wonders how Leach will coax points out of his attack when they are going against the number 3 defense according to S&P+. It's also worth noting that after winning his first Apple Cup, Leach has lost the last 4, all by double digits. As for the cultural context, let Brian Floyd's excellent piece on the rivalry set the scene. As you leave Seattle and head east on Interstate 90, cutting through the Cascade Mountains, you'll notice the scenery changing. The range, which extends from Canada to California, serves as a natural dividing line in the state. East and west, rainy and arid, urban and rural, Huskies and Cougars. There is a tension between the two sides of the state in politics, environment, and lifestyle. Fittingly for a game on the rainy side of the state, the forecast tonight in Seattle is for rain.